beautiful face with an intellectual mind is how I would describe my today's guest on How's the Josh. Hi, I'm Arthi Karthik, and in today's episode, if you're going to be watching it fully, you will know a lot about an industry that we all hardly know anything about. The industry is the publishing industry, and the beautiful guest is Mrs. Ganiv Panjrath. Hi, Mrs. Panjrath. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi Arthi, thank you. Thank you for getting me on board. Such a pleasure to be here and speaking something which is so passionate to me.
Firstly, let me compliment you on the beautiful, beautiful setup of your drawing room. It's so cozy, it's so warm, and it's so beautiful.
I'm humbled, Arthi. I think after 30 years of service with your husband, part and parcel, we all learn how to make our home so comfortable.
There are such beautiful nooks and corners of the house that after the interview I would go and explore. But talking about exploring, I want to know about the publishing industry. How did it happen to you?
Okay, so Arthi, I was not at all inclined towards becoming a publisher initially. My father has started this publishing house in 2010 and unfortunately we lost him in 2017. He kept wanting me to, join him. But you know how a father and daughter relationship is. Usually you don't want to spoil it with becoming his partner. So I had to join in when my partner Tanaz Irani came down and she told me that your father has done all the spade work and you must
take it forward.
Yes. So that's how I jumped into it.
And you continue to live his dream.
Yes, I do. Every day.
How lovely. How lovely. Mrs. Ganiv, tell me, before talking about the publishing industry, I want to know your journey as a wife of an army officer. How has it been?
It's almost 30 years now. We've been married. I was a army officer's daughter, and then I moved on to becoming a serving officer's spouse. It's been a beautiful journey. We've all had our ups and downs, but I still enjoy being I would say I appreciate this journey with my husband, and if I'm given a chance again in my next life, I would still want to come back as an army officer's wife.
How beautiful. Though we keep complaining that we have to shift every 2 years, sometimes every 1 year, sometimes 6 months, 8 months, temporary, है ना? लेकिन फिर भी जो जर्नी की मेमोरीज होती हैं, that's what life is all about, isn't it?
Yes, it is. पहले एक बक्से से जिंदगी शुरू होती है और फिर 70 बक्सों में समेट के रह जाती है.
And then we do not know what to do with so much of stuff that we've collected, but we still collect.
We do that. It's a beautiful journey.
So what's the most memorable incident from last 30 years, if you have to just recollect and point it on something?
The most interesting incident I would say was our stay in Bombay. It was a small cute little camp called Kalina Camp.
Okay.
And I was there, we didn't have a little baby, so it was almost 7 years. And that beautiful place gifted us with Jaskirat in our lives. And I would say that was the most precious tenure of our lives.
Being Bombay and then having your baby.
Yes,
yeah?
Both together.
Okay, so talking about the publishing industry, getting back to it, what from a layman's point of view, everybody thinks कि शायद हम भी लिख सकते हैं, पर वो क्या essential चीज़ें होती हैं which I have to know about myself or about the subject that I'm writing, which makes me capable to be an author.
So to answer to that, we all have stories in our lives.
Absolutely.
There is no such thing as I can become an author, I can't become an author, or will I be able to become an author. Everybody has got stories in their lives. It's just that, that inhibitions which makes us keep the stories to ourselves. The world is an open platform. We all can share our stories there. And I would say I'm the person who can and has encouraged people to write. If you write, we can publish. Okay. That's our motto. Simply put.
And your publishing house is working extensively for the veterans and for the kids of army officers and wives of army officers and serving officers. You've published their work. So do they approach you or do they contact you, or how, if I want to contact you, then how do I do it?
Arthi, it's very interesting. Initially, people didn't know much about our publishing works and to what extent we would do. But now the word of mouth has spread so much that every author who's satisfied with our work tries to suggest to his friends who want to publish their work. And approaching me, connecting with me can be done through social media. My phone number is approachable. Everywhere you can just call me up and we can take it forward. So it's not very difficult to find
And what's
out.
the website of your publishing house called?
It's called www.creativecrowpublishers.com.
Okay, so in short, we call it CCP as well.
CCP.
Okay. So I want to know what is the kind of expense that that I, as an individual, have to incur. If does it depend on the number of pages of my book, or does it depend on the content, or does it depend on how many people go through my book and suggest that these are the alterations that have to be done? So how does it work?
So Arthi, the manuscript comes to us in a Word file, and then my partner, since she is the editor, she goes ahead and she sees the file. The first step is to find how much the word count is, because you're actually writing a book and it's taken you almost a year to, maybe a year or more years to write it down. We calculate the word count. We see the kind of, suggestive enhancement or corrective enhancement or editing, whatever the minor things are required in the script, we look into that. Now, it's not only editing, it's the designing, the layout, the covers, the option for the covers. It's a complete process. The whole process has got its financial implications, and it depends on how big the book is and how long the time it's going to take.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in terms of commercials, if I have to put a figure to it, if my book is say about 200 pages or less than that, or it is about say up to 400 pages, so how does the commercial
The commercials would be somewhere between, maybe, it will range from between 10 to 20 to 25 grants.
Okay.
Yeah. So it takes that much.
Okay.
And this involves, our services involve putting the book online, internationally, domestically,
Okay.
Filing for an ISBN number for your book so that it's, taken forward, and plus trying to promote your book through distributors, sub-distributors into the libraries.
So any author that you associate yourself with or comes on board with you, you are able to give all these services inclusive in the commercials that you have just said.
Absolutely, including an e-book.
Okay.
And promoting the book in the international forum.
Okay. And you have published in majorly all languages, or are you specific in certain languages?
Arthi, we haven't explored other Indian languages, but Hindi and English, yes, we've done.
These are your core...
yes, these are our core abilities.
Okay. Okay. And which is the latest book that your publishing house is going to be publishing?
In fact, we are just about to launch our book.
Oh, wow.
It's a very interesting book, Arthi. When we talk about finance, it's actually related to numbers and difficult, boring numbers.
Yes.
But here this gentleman has written a book on the golf course.
Okay.
It's between three friends who are discussing about their investments and how they want to go ahead with it, keeping in mind with the kind of the greens and the fairways and the golf yardsticks which we take to measure. This author has written a very beautiful book on that approach. So it's business with pleasure.
Wow, I like that name, business with pleasure. Okay, so he's basically talked about finance, but the background is golf.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
that's so beautiful. So, which is the what is the age of the youngest publisher that you have published the work of?
We published, our youngest author was about 9.5, 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
And when the book came out, he turned 10. So that he was our youngest author, and you would call a veteran, the senior veteran who's published 3 books with us, stays in Pune, Air Commodore, Air Vice Marshal Vaidya. He's written 3 books with us. He's about 80 plus.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's still continuing to write.
And have you seen that there is an increase in the number of army officers' wife publishing their work?
Oh yes, in fact, in the last 3 years, We've seen a total sprout of army officers' wives who are into writing and all different kind of genres.
Okay.
You name it, history books. You talk about poetry. You talk about fiction, non-fiction. Every forte, every genre they're touching.
Do you plan to write your journey of how, because I'm sure that before you got into publishing, you were in some other industry. If I'm not wrong, it was Fab India. So a transition from Fab India, from that kind of a creative field to this.
In fact, Arthi, I was thinking about this in the morning. I said, when I publish for others, why not try writing yourself? So maybe my extended family will one day see me writing a book, and I'm sure I will get into that eventually. Thank you.
All the best for that.
Thank you.
And Ms. Panjrath, tell us about your family.
Arthi, I've got one son. He's just Kirat. He's about 21 years old. And he's pursuing his undergrad in New York. He's in Parsons School of Design. So I keep telling him, Mama ki books ke upar cover banao. But he says, you're a poor pay master. I'm never going to join you.
Okay. Yeah. And something about your husband, the perfect gentleman that all the army officers are, the chivalrous man in your life.
Oh yes, he's a knight in shining armor. He came into my life and he's a wonderful person. Today I am what I am is because of his sheer motivation. Every morning he motivates me, and I sometimes kind of tell him that it's too much now, I can't handle it. He says nothing is too much. You got more capability than this. This is just the beginning. So I wouldn't be there if it hadn't been for him around.
How sweet. I'm sure that generally all Fauji husbands are quite supportive when it comes to their wife's decision of trying to do something different, or trying to continue what they love.
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
Absolutely.
So Ms. Panjrath, tell me, you plan to be here now in Delhi, or you plan to join your husband wherever he goes next? Does your work stop you? Or
no, Arthi, I think now things have changed for an army officer's wife. Your profession can take you everywhere. You can take out time to work, wherever you are with your husband. And right from the beginning, I've been supporting my husband in his requirements also. So it's both ways. We both respect each other's profession, and we contribute 110%. So I don't think this is going to stop me. If he moves to any other place, my work will travel with me.
That's lovely, Mrs. Panjrath. I also wanted to ask you, if I ever decide to write, generally how much time does it take? Or has it ever happened that somebody has come to you with their book and you've said that please thoda sa कुछ और भी
कर दो इसको,
या
थोड़ा मुझे बता दो,
enhance कर दो,
हाँ, थोड़ा help कर दो.
Where people think that they can also, but then the reality is something different. Has it ever happened?
Yes, there was a author with us who he wasn't an author that time. He used to write small little bites and interesting anecdotes on WhatsApp, and he used to share it on the groups. So my husband just read a few of his interesting anecdotes, and he told him, he said, sir, you write so beautifully, why don't you convert it into a book? So he said, यार हम बड़े बुड्ढे हो गए हैं, अब हमारे को ये इंटरनेट और ये सब हमसे हैंडल नहीं होता. So he said, just compile it with the help of somebody and give it. So when he came to me, we took the excerpts and we converted it into a book. Okay. It's called The Mischievous Memoirs. Okay. And the book has done so well that it's been actually taken by one of the Russian colleges as one of their textbooks. So it was beautifully done. And again, the effort is all of the editor, who's behind the scenes sitting and toiling day in, day out. And she actually helps out authors to create.
How much time does it take for a person or for you as an organization to publish a book?
If you give me a script today and I don't have any other script with me right now, then probably me and my partner will make it live in another maybe 3 to 6 months. It will be live if I don't have any work.
And you also organize a book reading session for your authors?
Yes, we do it, but it is in tandem with the author. Okay. It's the prerogative of the author, and we do assist. We give them guidelines, we tell them how to do it, we even help them out with book launches.
how to go about it.
Yes,
And
we tell them. It's like a win-win
you
situation
basically
for
give
all.
a package to the person who comes to you with a book idea.
Arti, we don't work on packages.
Okay.
It's an understanding between the author and us. What is he comfortable with? There is no standard thing. There is a contract which we do with the author where all the guidelines are mentioned, but they are not the ground rules. The author, if he is not comfortable with something, they can be mended to, come into his requirements.
Okay.
Certain aspects, they want to change. Like there is a book which comes with a movie script. Now the author feels that at some point of time he would like to become a movie, or what if the OTT these days pick it up. So we have an understanding with him.
Okay.
So that part is totally transparent with the author.
Okay. Talking about changes, we keep changing our places, we keep seeing new places, and we were talking about how, especially at this age that we have reached, the importance of friends in our lives and about traveling. So, you do solo traveling?
Oh,
Apart
yes.
from the traveling that in the forge makes you.
Oh yes, I've traveled solo. I've gone on a holiday with 10 girls, and my girls are still after me. We should do it again.
Yeah, you must do it
I
again.
don't need
All the
anybody's
best.
permission to do that. I love traveling solo.
Yeah, I think especially at this age of our lives, we feel that being with friends, there's nothing else
Nothing like friends.
that life can offer more than this to you.
Arti, I'm here, I'm vouching. I said the friends which we made in the services and beyond, these are the people who've actually encouraged me, motivated me. They are the ones, whom I get up in the morning and open my phone to see the thumbs ups that they give and the motivation that they give me every morning. These are the people who get me going.
And I'm sure a lot of people who have come to you for, to get their work published are also the people who keep you going.
Oh yes, they are my
And,
extended family. Without saying so, all our authors become our extended family.
Yeah, so in the next episode, we would love to have them. In fact, I would tell the viewers that there are going to be two authors who are going to be joining us in the next episode, which is an extension of this episode of How's the Josh. They would be talking about their experiences of how it was, how they began, and how finally their work was published. And I would also request them to probably read a para for us. So that's all in today's episode. In fact, in this episode of How's the Josh, and we would continue this episode in the next week. Thank you so much. Do subscribe, share, and comment on my channel. This is me, Arthi Karthik, saying keep the Josh high. Thank you.